Hello friends, this is Dr. Janardhan Pawar from TC College Baramati. In last video, just we have taken an idea about methods and channels of communication. Apart from that, we have also seen one chart which was talking about different methods of communication as well as different channels of communication. So in this particular video, we are going to talk about types of business communication, and as I told you, there are two types or methods of communication that we are going to see in a precise manner. So friends, as I told you, there are two different types of communication that we follow in every organization, that we go for in every organization. Which are they? What are they? That we are going to see one by one. Friends, the first method and the first type that we follow in business organization, that is internal communication. So see, as I told you earlier, when we think about any business organization, there are two types of communication every business organization has to make. What are they? See, for example, internal and external, these are the two types, or these are the two methods that they have to follow. For example, look at this. See, when we think about any business organization, they have to make communication with different authorities. They have to make communication with their employees. They have to make communication with their workers, with their supervisors, with their managers, with their management authorities. Sometimes they have to go for outside agencies also. They have to make communication with bankers. They have to make communication with insurance companies. They have to make communication with government agencies. Sometimes they have to make some compliances to government also. So that is a part of communication. So this kind of communication every organization has to make, but we are going to classify into different categories or into different types of communication. For example, whatever communication that they make with their employees, managers, management authorities, workers and supervisors, it comes under the category of internal communication. As name reflects everything. If you look at the name, you can understand everything. Internal means what? Inside the business, within the business, for the employees of the business. And we can understand the meaning of this internal communication by looking at these particular aspects. Where are the employees? Employees are there in the business. Where are the managers? They are there in the business. Okay, where are the supervisors? They are there in the business. And whenever we or business organization make communication with this kind of people, with this kind of different stakeholders, can be called as what? Internal communication. In simple manner or in simple words, how people have to remember, whatever communication is made to the employees of the organization, to the managers of the organization, or those persons who are the part of business organization, it becomes internal communication. Moving on to the second type or second method of communication, that is external communication. When it comes to external communication, there are different kind of things which are associated. When we think about external, the word external reflects everything. How it is everything? See, external means what? Not within the business, not inside the business. Clear? So here we are going to make the communication out with outside agencies. Outside agencies means what? If you want to run the business, you need to have relation with outside agencies. You need to have support of outside agencies. For example, every business organization has to open an account with the bank. So bank is the thing which will support to the business. If you want to run the business, you need to have some support from insurance companies also. So you need to make communication with insurance companies. That becomes outside agency. Then if you want to run your business, you need to have some support from transport agencies. So you need to communicate with transport agencies also. So these are the things which are there. And sometimes you need to go for some guidelines. You need to make some compliances to the government authorities. So that is also a part of what? External communication. So simply, if people have to remember, whatever communication is made to these kind of outside agencies which are supporting in nature, it becomes external communication. So now there may be a question in the mind of you guys, how it is done. No doubt we understood the stakeholders of internal communication and external communication, but how it is done? And nowadays it is done, sometimes it is done face to face, Sometimes it is done by using telephones, sometimes it is done by using fax, sometimes it is done by using internet also. So what we do, we can send them some letters, we can call them, we can mail some emails also. So this way it will be done with both the stakeholders, whether it is internal stakeholder or external stakeholder. So I hope you people have understood the concept of internal communication and external communication. Before going ahead, let me explain you the concept again. As far as internal communication is concerned, whatever communication we make or business organization makes inside the business for their employees, for workers, managers, management agencies, and their supervisors also, it becomes the part of what internal communication. It can be done by face to face communication, it can be done by telephone, it can be done by using fax or email services. So this is internal communication. And the second part is external communication, the communication that every business organization makes with outside agencies. Those can be called what? External communication. Here we make communication with bankers, insurance companies, transport companies, and government organizations or government authorities time to time. Here also we can go for the same things. We can go for face to face communication, we can go for telephonic communication, we can go for fax, we can go for emails also, and this way it can be done. So in this particular video, till this particular moment, we people have seen two types of business communication. One is internal communication and second one is external communication. So these are the two methods and two basic types of communication which we people have seen so far. I hope you people have understood thoroughly. If you have any doubt, you can ask me your doubt by using Google Classroom. Moving on to the next one, here some examples I have given for the purpose of external communication and internal communication is concerned. Just look at the examples, which examples I have given here. For example, if you want to go for external communication, how it can be done, what are the modes of doing this external communication that I have given here. Just look at the slide. Here I have given something like this. For example, when you want to go for external communication, it can be done by using letters, it can be done by using fax, direct mails we can send, we can use internet, and there are there are a number of things that we can use internet and go for the communication. Then we can go for video calls, we can go for telephones, we can go for advertising, we can create one website also and can communicate with the external communication or external authorities which are not there in the business. Moving on to the next one, if you want to see the examples of internal communication, there are a number of things that we can be done, that we can do for the purpose of doing internal communication, and those are team briefing. Team briefing means what? They call a team and they brief them, they explain them in front of the entire team. So if manager wants to suggest something, if manager wants to give some instruction to their employees, so that particular manager can call the entire team in front of him and he will instruct them, and that kind of thing is called what? Team briefing. Notices they can provide, they can send to the employees as far as internal communication is concerned. Reports are generated, memos are given, face to face communication they can call, and emails also can be sent in case of internal communication. So these are the examples, and by following these examples, business organizations can go for, or business organizations can use these kind of modes for doing internal as well as external communication. Once again I repeat, internal communication means what? Whatever communication business organization makes for internal part of the business or for the inside the business for employees, managers, workers, supervisors can be called as internal communication. And whatever communication they make for outside agencies like government agencies, insurance companies, transport company, bankers and all, it becomes external communication here. So friends, so these are the two types or methods of communication which we have seen with their examples, how it can be done. We have seen their modes also, and now we are going to talk about another things, that is methods of communication. We are going to see, we have seen types of communication, okay. In up to two videos, we have been talking about types of communication, and there we have seen two different types, internal and external. Moving on to the next thing, next aspect of your study, that is methods of communication. And basically there are two types of methods that we follow in the process of communication, and these two methods are verbal communication and non-verbal communication. So here we are going to talk about the first method of communication, that is verbal communication. If you look at the name of this method of communication, you can understand everything. If you look at the picture that I have shown in my slide, by looking at that slide also, you can understand the entire theme and the entire concept of communication. See, in a picture, there are some people, those who are sitting, and there is one lady who is instructing something, who is talking something. From that, we can understand the concept of verbal communication. So what do you mean by verbal communication? Here also I have given something in words. Verbal communication means communication through spoken or written words. See, here we can understand one thing by looking at the picture and by looking at the concept. If you are able to think something, you can understand everything. By looking at the picture, we can understand it can be done by using some spoken words. Suppose if you want to give some things, you can you can talk with your, or you can speak with your employee. It becomes verbal communication. So verbal communication is nothing but what? In this kind of communication, we go for spoken or written word. It implies use of word which makes languages. And if you want to give some messages to your employees or your subordinates, you need to know some languages. And how language is originated? Language is originated from the words. If you want to make one sentence, what things are required, which is required, words are required. So this way, when sentences are made, automatically language is also made. So it is the ability to communicate by using words. So see, in case of verbal communication, it can be done by using the language, and if you want to use the language, you should know something about the words. So here we can understand, in this particular type of verbal communication, words or written words or spoken words are used to communicate the thing. And by looking at the picture, that lady is speaking something, he is speaking in the form of what? Spoken or spoken words, and this way she is communicating with the subordinates. So this is the concept of verbal communication. Verbal communication is nothing but what? Whenever we go for the communication, and there we use some written or spoken words for the purpose of communication, and this way the concept of verbal communication is emerged. I hope you people have understood the concept of verbal communication thoroughly. Once again, I repeat the concept of verbal communication. In this concept of verbal communication, the person or the speaker uses spoken words or written words for giving the message or for transmitting the message to his or her subordinates. And in this particular type of verbal communication, language is used, sentences are made, and this way they go for the communication. And this kind of particular way of communication, where words and written words or spoken words are used, is called as verbal communication. So this one is the first method of communication which we have seen. Here only we have seen the meaning of this verbal communication. In next video, we are going to see the another part of this verbal communication thoroughly. Till then, stay connected, stay tuned, and thank you so much.